Welcome to one of this year's most challenging races, where the combination of high speed and complex corners makes this one of the drivers' favorite tracks. It's time for the Japanese Grand Prix. "18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour.
So far, all drivers getting away relatively clean. Look at that turn one. So far, everybody is clean. Not too many position changes here through the opening phase of this race. It's 13 laps to go here on Suzuka, and that is Gadwin in that Red Bull, absolutely towering down grid position now as he has spun. It looks like Lutra and Ricky off to a bad start as well. They are going to do everything they can to catch up to the grid, and we already have some crazy wheel-to-wheel racing action here. As you can see, Custom, Zamajo trying to keep up with Jean. We're going to jump to the front of the grid now, as this is, of course, the most exciting action happening right now. That is Mikkel, the Australian, in the Mercedes, into the lead of this race here in Suzuka. Flashbacks happening right now to Misfits Racing League Season 1, where Mikkel did take the win. I am looking for him to take the win here again, if I must say. Finn, currently half a second behind him, moving on the exit out of Spoon. Samus has dropped off a little bit in that Alfa Romeo, and Yoda is very tight to his rear in the Ferrari. BTFU up into 5th. Vettel maintaining his 6th position on the grid. He is going to be happy about that, and he is going to be fighting for serious points here in Japan. Finn giving everything he's got, moving around the outside of Mikkel. Mikkel very late on the brakes there. As you can see, he just goes straight ahead of the Racing Point driver, but Finn with a very good exit. Ooh, not able to get it done with Mikkel taking the lead ever so carefully as these drivers battle now. Vettel taking a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Gadwin, as he has now dropped down the grid as well. Not too sure what happened there. And Zamajo, failing to qualify once again here in this race, has already made his way up into 8th position, showing that absolute blistering speed in the Williams, no less. Yoda now, still very close to the rear of Samus in that Alfa Romeo. We'll see if he's able to make a run here on the 3rd place driver. Making a move around the outside. He has 2 tires on the grass. Very tight through 130R here. Ooh, very, very late on the brakes is Yoda, and he just gets ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver. Sam is going to be looking to jump back on him in just a second, as BTFU now coming around the outside of Samus down the pit straight. They are wheel to wheel. BTFU with a very good run out of that turn gets ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver, and he looks to catch up Yoda. Samus, having lost 2 positions inside of 3 turns, not going to be happy about that. The Williams of Henry now in 6th position, making his way through the S's, trying to catch up to the Alpha as well. Aphrodite in P7 showing very good pace in the McLaren here on lap 3. And Zamajo absolutely flying. He still is in P8. One thing to note is we have Jasko and Vettel into the pits for the hard compound tire. Sneaky and Lutra started this race on the hard compound tire, so they're going for the long stint. And Ricky Ciardo has also come out onto the mediums as well. Zamajo very close to Aphrodite now. Henry super close to Samus as we make it through the last few turns here on lap 3. He is going to have DRS on the pit straight. We're going to jump to him as this is a further position up the grid that he is fighting for. He is going to have DRS. He's making a move down the inside of the pit straight. He decides to go to the outside. Samus putting his car in the center of the circuit perfectly, preventing Henry from taking any position on either side. Henry currently on the outside, moving through the S's now. Very good racing from Henry and Samus at the moment. Zamajo, currently in 7th position, is gaining on his teammate. Henry going to do everything he can to hold up Zamajo as well. As you can see, Zamajo making a serious move up the inside, and look at how fast he was able to make that move through the inside on Henry, down into the hairpin. He has taken position 6. What a beautiful move from Zamajo there. Henry, though, not liking that. He's going to try and keep up with Zamajo and hold him up a little bit. Astrodate, P8, Jean, P9, and Tactical Velcro finishing off the top 10. Rackety currently only a second separating him and the McLaren of Velcro. As it is Finn, very tight to the rear of Mikau. He is going to have DRS down the pit straight here. We have a yellow flag through Sector 1 and Sector 2. Not too sure what's going on there, but Finn down the inside of Mikau into Turn 1. Mikau and Finn doing a very good job of maintaining their race lead at the moment, while Zamajo has gone into the pits for a serious undercut. Onto the medium compound tires he goes, and he is going to come out in 14th position as the 15th position Luktra behind him has retired his car into the pits. This race not going the way he wanted it. Very unfortunate for him. Finn still in lead of this race with Mikau not too far behind. Yoda is charging in that Ferrari, currently 4.5 seconds away from 2nd position. BTFU, 2.5 separating him in the podium at the moment, and Samus is going to have DRS hopefully down the pit straight if he can do everything he can to catch up to the Toro Rosso driver. As we go through Spoon here, we'll see if he's able to make up some time. One thing to keep in mind, Samus is driving on a wheel setup where you have BTFU on a pad setup. So Samus going to have a very good time here on Suzuka, as I would say this is a wheel-dominated circuit. And did Samus keep it in range for DRS? No, he did not. So, very fortunate for BTFU. That's Finn into the pits. Yoda and BTFU making their way into the podium positions. Mikau has stayed out here, and he will lead lap 6 as Finn goes into the pits for that undercut. Henry into the pits as well, looking for an undercut on the drivers ahead of him. Mikau absolutely doing everything he can to get a good in-lap here in that Mercedes. As the grid has spaced itself out quite a bit, BTFU is within a second of Yoda right now, and they are in the podium positions. Half of the grid has pitted so far. You can see drivers from 1 to 9 all still out on those soft compound tires, and I have a feeling we're going to see a good chunk of them pit here on lap 6. As we are now at that halfway point in the race. BTFU in that Toro Rosso looking to catch some slipstream from the Ferrari of Yoda. One thing that is very important here in Suzuka is that there is only one DRS zone, and that is the pit straight here. So he is going to try and get the DRS, but will we see either of these drivers dive into the pits? You can see the race leader Mikau has now gone into the pits here. BTFU and Yoda opting to stay out here. Astrodite into the pits in the McLaren. Mikau on his way out of the pits now. Where is he going to come out? That is Samus coming down the pit straight in the Alfa Romeo, and Jean as well. Mikau going to exit the pits. Where's Finn? Finn right behind Mikau. And the undercut did not pay off for Finn, as Mikau had a very good in-lap here. He comes out ahead of the Racing Point driver with a 1 second gap almost. So very nice from Mick. Unfortunately, though, Finn is going to have the warmer tires, which is going to be crucial through this first sector. As you can see, he's gained a few tenths here through only a couple of turns. Mikau, I'm sure, going to do a very good job of warming up those tires to try and maintain that position ahead of Finn. As all of the drivers ahead of them have yet to pit, they are the provisional race leaders at the moment. Gadwin in 8th position right now has stayed out on those soft compound tires. He, I'm sure, will be pitting shortly, and we have positions 1 through 5 staying out on the softs as well. Yoda currently leading the race in the Ferrari with the BTFU close behind him. Which of these two drivers is going into the pits? Yoda, as we can see, going into the pits. BTFU is following him. Samus on the 6-lap-old softs is going to stay out and go for a 7th round. Or should I say an 8th round on those soft tires, as his tires just turned 7 laps old. John into the pits as well in the Alfa Romeo. Samus currently leading this race with Rackety in the Renault, 8.9 seconds behind him. Samus looking for a good race here in Suzuka, has the lead of this race at the moment, and he's going to have to do everything he can to push on those tire degraded softs to maintain a good position when he exits the pits. We have Jasko out of this race in the other Ferrari. Gadwin into the pits now, finally getting off of those softs. He has exited on the medium compound tires. Sneaky in the Renault, just coming out of the pits, finishing his first lap on the soft compound tire now. He is in 14th position. So the grid has spaced itself out quite a large amount now, as there are only a few major wheel-to-wheel battles going on track. BTFU and Yoda fighting, and it looks like they came out of the pits ahead, or it looks like there may have been an issue with Mikau here, as Finn and Zamajo have both passed him. As I'm not too sure if there was some kind of incident, but Mikau was ahead of Finn earlier on. BTFU trying to catch Yoda now. Five laps remaining as Samus is into the pits now to get off those soft compound tires. Very eager to see where he comes out. Finn jumping into the race leadership position once again. Zamajo currently sat in 2nd, and Yoda coming across in 3rd. BTFU 4th, Mikau 5th, and Samus coming out in 6th. But he is fighting. That is Astrode alongside him, moving out just ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver. He is on the warmer medium tires. Samus has only just come out of the pit lane. Astrode looking very, very quick in the McLaren, as he is within 2 seconds of P5 at the moment. Samus is actually dropping back just a little bit for the moment, trying to save a little bit of that ERS, getting things set up, getting those tires hot, and I definitely think we're going to see him go on a charge. Mikau very close to the rear of BTFU. We'll have to stick with him, as he is going to make a move soon. I can feel it. And we'll have to keep an eye on how things are going with Samus as well. Taking a look at Mikau's car at the moment, he doesn't have any wing damage, so I'm not too sure what happened to him for him to have dropped back so many positions, but he is going to have DRS on BTFU. But BTFU with the DRS on Yoda as well. We'll see if BTFU and Mikau are able to gain some serious time on a podium position here, with Yoda down through turn 1. Very smooth there through the exit. through the hairpin now. Mikhail with a very decent exit. He's gaining a massive amount of time in the slipstream of that Toro Rosso Red Bull car. As we move down through Spoon, that's Mikhail out in front, very tight on the inside. BTFU, not as much traction as Mikhail through this turn. Mikhail, very nice job, well done from him. Making it up into P4. Getting ready to hunt down the Ferrari that is Yoda. Finn in that racing point, still out in front of Zamajo, currently a 2-second gap. He is on the fresher compound medium tires, which is very important here as tires can play a large role in the final few moments of this race. One thing that we have seen not as much as Austria is penalties. So penalties, again, could play a very important role here through this 25% sprint race. Yoda is currently 4.5 seconds off of the position 2 Zamajo. Currently fighting for that third position. He is going to have Mikhail on his rear quite soon. Only a second and 2/10 separating the two drivers. Custom in the Mercedes out of this race. Sorry, not the Mercedes, in the Toro Rosso. I'm used to seeing him in a Mercedes for MRL. So I just jumped to Mercedes when I see Custom retire. BTFU, currently less than a second separating him and Mikhail. DRS not playing a massive role here in Suzuka, of course, with the only straight being on the pit straight, or the DRS zone being on the pit straight, I should say. We'll see if BTFU is able to have a good exit here on the final corner with the DRS on Mikhail as Finn crosses the line, starting us on the second last lap of this race. It is lap 12, of course. BTFU with that DRS. Not having the run I'm sure he wanted to have at Mikhail down into turn 1. Samus has dropped back a bit. He is currently running in 6th position with Astrode in the McLaren giving chase. Henry in 8th. As things on this grid have spaced themselves out quite a large amount here in the sprint race. Oh my God, I'm absolutely losing my words today. Sneaky in the Renault, back in 14th, unfortunately, out of this race. Ricky Ciardo going to gain a position now, as I'm not too sure if he lagged or if he's having connection problems. His car is currently ghosted on screen. Rackety rounds off the top 10 in that Renault. Finn now, running the last few turns. Leading this race here into the final lap in Suzuka is the Racing Point Finn. Zamajo close behind him, 1.6 the gap. Yoda in the Ferrari currently running in 3rd. With that beautiful shot of the front right wheel. Mikhail in the Mercedes, not having the finish that I'm sure he wanted to have. Definitely my favorite to win here in Suzuka, but these drivers ahead of him, the difference in strategy playing a role, of course. The circuit itself, without the DRS, like Mikhail, very good driver here, and I really want to know what happened to him earlier on in this race. There's, possibility of a slide of some kind because he was doing very, very well, and now he's kind of been in catch-up mode here throughout the second stint. BTFU in 5th. Sam is 6th. Astrode 7th. Henner's in 8th. John in 9th. Rackety in 10th. Velcro 11th at the moment. Gadwin in 12th. Vettel 13th. And Ricky Ciardo rounding off the back of the grid in 14th. Sneaky, Custom, Jasko, and Luktra all retiring out of this race, and that is Finn. Now leading us through Sector 3. That is the 130R turn. Let's see if penalties are going to play a role in this race at all for our race winner, but it is looking like the Racing Point of Recycle Finn going to cross the line first here in Japan. Finn taking the race win, Zamajo in second. Yoda now crossing the final turn with Mikau very close to him. He takes third, Mikau a close fourth, BTFU fifth, Samus now into sixth, but Astrodite gains a position on him. Samus with the penalty, he'll finish seventh, Astrodite in sixth, Henry in eighth. Ricky Ciardo unfortunately being lapped here in this campaign. Rackety finishes ninth, right neck and neck with Jean. Penalties playing a role there, as I do believe Jean finished ahead of the Renault driver. Gadwin finishing 12th behind Tactical Veltro in 11th, and Vettel now rounding the last two turns as he is going to finish this race here in 13th. Not too sure what he's doing with his car there, but he has not had a good couple of first rounds here for March Madness at all. All right, now, as we are finishing up Suzuka, we have one more round this evening, but we are going to take a look one last time at how things wound up here in Japan. Finn with the race win, Zamajo P2, Yoda third, and in order we have Mikau, BTFU, Astrodite, Samus, Henry, and Rackety, with Jean rounding off the top 10. Tactical Velcro, Gadwin, Vettel, and Ricky, the only other drivers to finish this race. As I do believe, it says Vettel got a DNF, but I thought we saw him. Oh no, I do believe he retired his car. So Velcro and Gadwin, the only two drivers out of the top 10 to finish this race, with everyone else retiring. That is Vettel, Ricky, Sneaky, Custom, Jasko, and Lutra, all retiring out of this race. And excuse me, Ricky did not retire. He was just unfortunately lapped, and he will keep his 14th position here.